Yo, Tripolar Bear. We have one last update for the General Cry Shield Crush build that I was playing for my League Starter on stream and that I used to clear all of the content in the game, including the feared, the hidden, the formed, the forgotten, the, the whatever. Okay, we killed all the bosses. We did everything. And we did it on a pretty decent budget. My amulet, it's an Awakener Orb on +1/+1. That's probably my most expensive item. My belt, Ryslathi's Coil, it's like 1.7 probably to 2 if you want good rolls right away. My chest piece is one of the pieces that I've upgraded. So let's get into what I've changed on the budget crit version and why I've done it, why I think this is a much better way to do it, and why I'm kind of a dummy for not noticing it a little bit earlier. So you might notice we're using Aegis Aurora. Can you imagine that? We're using Aegis Aurora on an actual shield crit build. Now, why is that? I have so many people, why are you using Aegis Aurora? Well, if you take a look at it, it actually has a lot of armor and energy shield. Now, remember last league, evasion and ES was used on Crouching Tuna's Cold ST. And so we can do the same, and it will scale the same for Shield Crush if we use armor and energy shield. And as you and most people know this league, determination in armor is really good, okay? It's really, really good. So we're replenishing 2% of our armor, or 2% of our armor as energy shield every time we block. And on this budget crit version, we are going to maintain that versatile combatant, 50 attack block and 50 spell block. I think this is a much, much better way to do the budget crit, and it's a much nicer way to have a more well-rounded build, right? Instead of just pumping a lot of damage, we're going to have some block. It's going to be playable in Scourge. You're going to have extra defense, right? You get to eat dumb stuff, as you'll see in my little feared video, right? I had a couple of abilities, but it ended up all right in the end, okay? I survived, and we did the feared deathless on this build, all right? Pretty cool, dude, pretty cool. But yeah, that's the big change for budget crit. We're versatile combatant, so instead of pathing up here, and instead of taking another cluster on the budget crit version, we're going to just remove this area of the tree. We're going to come down here, pick up these shield nodes, travel all the way over here and pick up this. And this is where we'll get our other 20% impale chance, which I should take the reflect off there because I was doing a reflect map. So 20% chance to impale hit with the gem and your dread banner should cap your impale chance. And then, of course, we just pick up a little bit of life. But that's the TLDR, and then we're moving brutal restraint down here. Now, how we get energy shield when we are swapping, of course, is going to be from Aegis Aurora, but also from a craft on a chest piece. Now, this chest piece might look a little spicy. It was actually very, very easy to make something like this. I would just search for life and additional curse on a armor chest piece. And when you do that, you'll find like unlinked ones. They'll be, I think I got mine for probably less than 50 chaos. And I searched for an open prefix as well so that we could craft this maximum life as extra energy shield. So 10% of my life is added as extra ES. This is extremely valuable. And so I 6-socketed this on my own. You can see I put it in my Scourge thing. I only did it once. I would hope you don't get very unlucky, although I would imagine some people will. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But this is such a cheap way to get free 6 links, right? So you just take a random additional curse and life. You craft the max life as extra ES. You 6-socket it all the way, right? After your 20 quality, of course. You 6-socket it with Jewelers. And then you just cook it, right? You cook it after you 4-link it, and you do the tainted fusing trick. Once you get like a good Scourge, or at least a not build breaking one, right? I got minus fire res, plus lightning res. I can deal with that. And so I had it 4-linked. It was corrupted. These 2 links down here weren't linked at all. I used one tainted fusing, then it became a 5-link. I used another, then it became a 6-link. What you do if it becomes a 3-link very quickly is you go back to your crafting bench, put it in there, make it a 4-link again, then use a tainted fusing. If it goes to 5, use another. If it goes to 6, you're done, right? You're always just trying to bounce from 4 to 5, 5 to 6 with the tainted fusings. And, doing the Scourge cooking is an easy way to not have a chance at breaking your chest piece that you've created. Instead of, sometimes you corrupt it and it gets a little wonky. But other than that, I mean, most of my gear is like actually on like a cheap. It's actually really cheap, right? Like I have an Awakener orb, right? If you price check this, don't do this. You guys, don't do this. Please don't do this. Oh my god, don't pay like 4.5, 5, or 7 exalts for a life crafted on an amulet. Just buy an Awakener orb and the +1 amulets on your own, and you'll be more than fine, right? It'll be a-okay. You can even roll the Fizz one with physical reforges if you just buy the base, right? And then the strength one, then you just take them, make sure they're the only influence mods on your gear, and then you slap them together with an Awakener orb. But yeah, I'm going to have the rest of the video as a little montage of, you know, what the Aegis Aurora gameplay kind of looks like. I think it is a lot more comfortable. Especially like even on like a pretty decent budget. I would just make sure you have your Ryslatha, a +1/+1, and then, you know, the chest piece and accuracy gear is what's going to get you swapping the budget. Before we go to the gameplay, let's talk about some pitfalls I've seen people fall into. So the very first one is not having a diamond flask with increased critical strike chance during flask effect. This is like a huge part of having your crit strike chance. Number 2 is accuracy. You have to have your accuracy at literally like 98, okay? Like 95 is scuffing it. You need to be okay with being scuffed. I can't recommend anything lower. So these and this middle one for 40 accuracy against unique enemies, making sure you enable it in POB is extremely important. One thing to mention really quickly is that when you swap to the budget crit, if you don't have a lot of accuracy, if you don't have a lot of crit strike chance, your shield charge clear is going to be a little bit worse for wear. When you swap, your clear will feel worse because your crit is dependent on your, you know, kind of big setup for your shield crush and general cry, your assassin's mark, you know, the whole 9, and then your accuracy is only really boosted against unique enemies because of that one node, amongst other things. So your clear might feel a little bit more scuffed until you get the build a lot more fleshed out. It's not like very, very scuffed, but it will feel worse comparatively to before you did the swap. So that's something to just keep in mind. It's not that big of a deal because now you have nice big block. You've got yes on block. Your bossing is a lot easier, but it is one of the downsides to swapping to the budget crit on a budget. And let's go to the POB very quickly. So when you do this node here, you have to make sure in your configuration that you set it to a boss, because otherwise it says my hit chance is 99. But when you do that, it goes up a lot. And so in the POB, I've updated it with the budget crit. And then we have a Aegis budget 50/50 crit tree down here as well. Just to make it very easy, I've updated the all-in-one POB with all the stuff you need. Another big thing I forgot to mention quickly is you can still use a Watcher Eye with additional impales, but because I tried to make this very good on a budget and defensive while still having damage and whatnot, of course, trying to make a well-rounded build, we're actually going to use a Watcher Eye that just gives you block. I sat here trying to figure out how to get more block, because Versatile Combatant requires you to have additional attack block so that you may obtain spell block, right? That's how it works, so that you can round out a 50/50. And this was one of the easiest ways for me to get block. Even though, you know, we have points on the tree, there's no more block anywhere else. Like, I can't take any more block unless we do dumb stuff like this. And at that point, you absolutely can. But I would only do that once you get an Impale Watcher Eye, right? Because those are insane. Impale Watcher Eyes add so much damage. It's 34 combined, which isn't real. We'll talk about that in a second. But it jumps up to 40, right? That's big. But if you're poor, you just grab the chance to block attack damage while affected by determination. And you see in this POB, we have 46,000 armor. It's because we're going to use Defiance Pain, or Defy Pain for Defiance stacks. We get about 5 Defiance stacks on average, I'm just going to say. You know, sometimes more, sometimes less. If you're doing this, I would take Yoggle to take 50% reduced reflected damage. But with all of our armor and whatnot, with the Molten Shell, if it's up, you shouldn't really feel this. But if it does become a large issue, what you can do is you can take the reduced reflected physical damage here, and then you're just completely immune to physical damage, barring like very specific scenarios where you're taking increased physical damage, and then, you know, it's reflected to you. And how would you get your impale chance back? Well, because we would be giving up that 20 impale chance, you can grab a different Lord of Steel here, and you can kind of do some scuff stuff. There's another Lord of Steel you could do for impale chance. I think the easiest way to get your extra impale chance is going to be 5 here, 6, and then the other 15 there for 20. It's just going to take an extra, you know, lot of points, right? This kind of This means you're probably going to give up Scion Life if you're level 95, right? It's just like a little bit of a balance act. So just make sure you're capping your Impale chance out. But that's the big change for the Ascendancy here. We take out the Rage, which is going to make your mapping slower. But if you're doing budget crit and want to focus on bossing, this is a really good idea. Otherwise, if you want to maintain like your mapping speed and whatnot, like Rite of Ruin and this whole wheel here does give your shield charge a lot of speed, and it will feel clunky if you do, excuse me, no, we're not giving that up. We would give these two up. It will feel clunky if you take these out for, you know, speedy mapping. But, you know, I'm just going to assume you want to just pound your bosses out or, you know, blast some bosses. And so, you know, this is how you would do that. So another really important thing you have to do is you have to cast Assassin's Mark. If you don't do this, you lose a lot of crit strike chance and you lose a lot of damage, right? Pressing one button gives you lots of millions of damage. But all of our links should be here. Take Punishment out. Punishment's trolling. Don't do that. Punishment is, you know, whatever. We have Vuln and Assassin's Mark for the budget hybrid crit. And then another big thing are going to be clusters. So we're going to use Awaken Melee Physical for our Intimidate, freeing up one of our medium mods. And so we'll be able to get Warning Call, which gives us a ass load of armor. We're getting like 11k armor from this one node. And then, you know, try to get Lead from Example and Warning Call somewhere, right? Onslaught's cool. It doesn't really give damage. It says it gives damage. It's lying. We'll talk about the damage in 1 second. But it's nice to just have 20 move speed and attack speed for shield charging, and then just for moving around faster. And then you just need Mob Mentality and anything else. Rattling Blows is probably the easiest thing you're going to be able to hit with Mob Mentality, but you have to have Mob Mentality, because imagine not having Power, Frenzy, and Endurance charges on your build. Actual cringe. Actual cringe. Gives you so much damage, so much crit, so much survivability. Endurance charges are base. All right. Also, you're large. This is another way we're capping our block out. We just get a prodigious defense in one of these two positions. And then this is just nice, right? You probably won't be able to get my exact one. There will be bought out or whatever, but, you know, just find one that has prodigious defense, like right here. And then your block should be capped at 50-50. TLDR, cap accuracy, cap crit. Follow the new POB. The new POB is gold, okay? It's got everything. And for damage, I had a lot of people ask me, they're like, yo, it says like 25 million damage, but I'm not doing that. I told you in the video, all right? And then they say, I watched the video. And it's like, I know goddamn well you didn't watch the video, okay? Because you're saying stuff. It doesn't, you know, it's not lining up. All right. This is how you calculate damage. Once again, combined DPS. It's fake. It's very fake. So really, we have 32 million damage, which is divided by our attack rate, because our general cries only attack once, and they only attack once every general cry cooldown, which is every 1.75 seconds. So in this POB, it's 11.7 million damage, which is still like very good. And if you're following this POB, it's actually going to have double the damage that my character had in the little showcase towards the end. So that's pretty good. I think my character only had like 4 million or something, just because, you know, I tried to do it on like a very, very Omega budget. Just to have an example, and I will keep my character all geared out, just to have an example for you guys to follow, so that you can know what a kind of minimum gear set it would require for you to do some of those bosses. But 11 million with 46k armor, 50-50 block with Aegis Aurora. Your Aegis is taking 2% of that 46,000. So every time you block, you're getting 920 energy shield every single time. So whether you block an attack or whether you block a spell, that's pretty cool. And that's why we try to get the max life as extra ES, so that we have at least 1k. So that when you're in the 40 to 50k range, your entire energy shield is being replenished every single time you block, which pretty much, I mean, it mitigates all small hits. And then it helps you have a constant buffer of, you know, 1k against any big hit as well, which is very, very nice. Anyway, rest of the video is going to be a montage. Stick around, tune in, watch it, and see how the build performs against all the endgame content. And I'll catch you guys in the live stream. All right, bye. Actually, I want Chayuler out of here. Get this Chayuli guy out of here. Is he done? All right, we got him. Now one spawns. Adziri. We're gonna get Adziri out of here. We're gonna get Elder out of here. Oh, shit. Dog, I'm missing like 20 impale chance right now. Oh, she's gonna Vuln curse me as well. You little effer. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Finally.